pastoring and trying to raise two daughters on my own. And one day, someone came by the church and knocked on the door and said, "Can I speak to the pastor?" I said, "I'm him." They came inside and they began to ask me all of these questions about my personal life, my professional life, what I did, and I was getting a little bit irritated, but I listened to them. And then they said to me, "Would you like to make a difference in the city of Waterbury in a different way?" And immediately a light went off, and she also said, "While working with other pastors." I said, "Sure, because I'm someone who's personable. I love to meet people, and especially love to have relationships with my colleagues." And so we began to put together this organizing plan to get people jobs in the city of Waterbury. At that time, there was a lot of money coming into the city of Waterbury to build the Brass City Mall and Yukon downtown. And we noticed that most of the vehicles that were in the city, of workers who were coming in to build the building, were from places like Washington and Massachusetts and New York and New Jersey and all of these other places. And the residents of Waterbury were not in the number. So we began to just talk amongst each other, and an organizing job opened up. And they asked me if I wanted the job, and I was like, "I have no idea what organizing is." They said, "You've been doing it." I said, "I don't think so." They said, "But you've been doing it." So they sent me to organizing school. All right, there is a school. And 4 years ago, I found out that the school that I went to, our president, Barack Obama, went to the same organizing school. And so at that time, I felt a little good. I was like, "Oh, me and Barack got something in common." But anyway, when I got back, we started to organize and do some things, and I got pastors together, and I probably got together about 40 pastors and started lighting a light in their heart about building the community and doing something different and demanding from our lawmakers that they start to treat our residents of the city of Waterbury in a more respectful way. We went down to the Board of Aldermen, and we kept going down there, and every time we went down there, we came with more people, until they had no choice but to say yes. And they voted to make sure that job would be set aside for Waterbury residents. Well, I thought things were going well. And I found out along the way that is called political power. Well, sometimes when you build power, sometimes that power can go awry and people start to try to use that in negative ways. And so I quit. And I started pastoring full time. And I got a phone call one morning from somebody named Shelly Beck, who said that she had just got a job here at the Conference of Churches, and she wanted to know if I could come train her organizers. I said, "Sure." So I came for a day, trained them, and at the end of the training session, I told her, "You have no organizers here." She then asked me if I would come up to Hartford for just 2 days a week, part-time, 4 hours a day. Yeah. So I said yes. And while here, it hit me. I love to organize, but we have to do something a little different because I don't want to see what happened in Waterbury happen in Hartford. And so we put our heads together and we came up with our own organizing model that was very relational, that embraced the pastor, and also embraced the members of the church, so that when we did build power, it would be collective, and it would not just be one or two persons to the side calling all the shots. Along about that time, I kept saying to myself, I am so tired of riding up and down 84, and doing all this work up here in Hartford and not doing any work back in Waterbury, because I stopped. I then called up a couple of my colleagues. One of my colleagues is here tonight, Bishop Raymond Berger, and asked him and 4 other pastors if they just wanted to have breakfast. So we had breakfast the second Saturday of every month, and we did that for about 6 months. And lo and behold, I said, "You know what? We got something here." And Bishop Berger says, "What do we got here, Brown?" with that said, we wanted to recognize that we got together, so we thought it would be good if we were to have a Martin Luther King celebration. In the city of Waterbury, there was already one celebration during the day, so we said, not everyone has off the Martin Luther King birthday. And so we had it in the evening, and it was absolutely wonderful. So in this group, we have those who are apostolic, Baptist, non-denominational, Church of God in Christ, interdenominational. If anyone knows about the working on, the going on and working on of church denominations, knows that we can be very territorial when we have to be. And I would always tell the brethren, I said, we're only one good argument from this family. It's the truth. And so we would always keep that in the forefront, that we're not here to see whose Jesus is the biggest. We're not here to see whose God is the most powerful. That we serve one God, and that we're going to make sure that we keep the goal of the group in front of us. So 10 years later, this coming January, we're going to be celebrating 10 years together. Come on, y'all give that a hand. And so as I close, I just want to let you know that I love doing this. This type of work has allowed me to see cases in the United States that I would not have been able to see if I was not doing this type of work. I've built many relationships. I've seen San Francisco. I've worked in San Francisco, Chicago, New Jersey, Boston, New York, and Texas. This type of work, it just needs to be done, where clergy work together to build a better community. And so if a person who calls themselves a minister, a pastor, or in the clergy, if they are not someone who brings transformation to the table, why are you even in the work? Why are you even in the work in the first place? I also see that we have our secretary of the Concerned Black Clergy Council, Reverend Pamela Hughes. It's so good to see you. Lastly, there are some really special people. The first person is my lovely wife. I call her Faye. Her first name is Edna, but I just like the name Faye. Her name is Edna Faye. I didn't pick a name and say, well, no,
What's she gonna do? What's she gonna do?
She has, in this work, you can get kind of McGruff, all right? She always keeps my edges rounded. To my oldest daughter, who is a grad student at UConn School of Social Work, Quenisha, she's in the house. I love her so much. To my middle daughter, who is a nursing student at UConn, going to be graduating in May. And to my baby daughter, who is a criminal justice major up in Massachusetts, who's going to also be graduating in May. I am a blessed man. Lastly, relationship building is the Conference of Churches' lifeblood. We realize that we can't do anything without having relationships. Relationships are everything. That is what we do. That is what we do. And so when I say relationships, I think of people like Marlon and Yvonne Dern, who have been with me in my church for 16 years. I think of Wesley Blather. I think of Bishop and his wife, Lady Bird, who I've known and just look at them as a spiritual father and a spiritual mother. And then I have someone who I've met over the last 2 years, and I just love his spirit, Bishop Russell. And then we have Mark Davis, who we've just been doing a lot of work with here in the city of Hartford. And so I'm just blessed. I'm just blessed, and if being the recipient of a Catylist Award means that I have to work even harder now, you don't even have to give it to me, because my thing is it's all about the community.